What would you do if you found proof of your wife's betrayal printed on a piece of paper she forgot to throw away? It was 2:17 a.m., and the only light in the kitchen came from the refrigerator door I'd left open too long. My fingers were numb from holding the thin slip of paper, creased, crumpled, but unmistakable. A parking ticket, issued at 11:48 p.m. Location, West 47th Street, Manhattan. My wife had told me she was in Brooklyn that night, at her sister's place. I remember the sound of the fridge humming, the way the cold air spilled over my bare feet, and the way my chest tightened as I read the ticket again and again, like it might somehow change. It didn't, because the next thing I found made it impossible to pretend anymore. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel, tell us where you're from, and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. The ticket wasn't the only thing in her purse. There was a receipt, folded small, tucked into the inner zipper like it mattered more. A hotel receipt, the kind you don't accidentally get, the kind you don't forget. The Hilton Garden Inn on West 46th. 2 guests, 1 bed. Check-in, 10:32 p.m. Check-out, 12:14 a.m. My hands started shaking so badly I had to sit down. I remember staring at the receipt like it was written in another language. Like maybe I was misreading it. Like maybe there was some logical explanation that didn't involve my wife lying to my face and sleeping with another man less than 5 blocks from where I stood. But there wasn't. And deep down, I knew it. I just hadn't been ready to admit it yet. Her name is Claire. We'd been married for 7 years. No kids. Just a quiet apartment on the Upper West Side, a shared routine, and what I thought was trust. Looking back, I should have seen it earlier. The late nights. The sudden gym memberships. The way she started locking her phone, even when she was just stepping into the shower. But love makes you blind in the most pathetic ways. It wasn't until that parking ticket that my eyes finally opened. The next morning, I didn't say anything. I made coffee like I always did. Toasted her bagel. Kissed her on the cheek as she scrolled through her phone. Busy day? I asked. She didn't even look up. Just meetings. Meetings. I nodded, forcing a smile, while inside something dark and heavy began to settle in my chest. Did you sleep at your sister's okay? I added casually. That got her attention. She looked up, just for a second, then back down. Yeah. What? No reason. She shrugged. We just talked late. You know how she is. Yeah, I knew. And I also knew she was lying without missing a beat. That was the moment something in me broke. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just quietly. Like a bone snapping under pressure. I didn't confront her. Not yet. Instead, I started watching. Listening. Paying attention in a way I never had before. And once you start looking for cracks, you realize the whole foundation is rotten. She started dressing differently. More makeup. New perfume. The kind that lingers in the hallway long after she leaves. She smiled at her phone more than she smiled at me. And sometimes, late at night, she'd step out onto the fire escape to take calls. Whispering. Always whispering. One night, I followed her. I told her I had a late meeting. Watched her leave the building from across the street, her heels clicking against the pavement like a countdown. She got into an Uber. I got into one right after. Follow that car, I said, feeling like an idiot for even saying it. But the driver just nodded. We trailed her all the way to Midtown, West 47th Street, the same street from the ticket. My stomach dropped as she stepped out, smoothed her dress, and walked straight into the Hilton Garden Inn, like she'd done it 100 times before. I didn't go in. Not that night. I just sat there, watching the entrance, waiting. And at 12:10 a.m., I saw him. Tall, confident, the kind of guy who knows exactly what he's doing. He walked out first, adjusting his jacket, checking his phone. Then Claire followed, fixing her hair, laughing at something he said, laughing, like I didn't exist. That image stayed burned into my mind for days, weeks. I stopped sleeping, stopped eating. Every time she touched me, I felt sick. Every time she said, I love you, I heard a lie. But I didn't explode. I didn't confront her. Because by then, I had something stronger than anger. I had patience. I started documenting everything. Photos, videos, dates, times. I hired a private investigator. Expensive, but worth every dollar. Turns out, his name was Daniel Mercer. A corporate lawyer. Married. 2 kids. Of course he was. They always are. The evidence piled up faster than I expected. Hotel visits. Dinner reservations. Messages. God, the messages. The investigator cloned her phone data. I read everything. Every joke. Every I miss you. Every disgusting detail of what they did together. I sat in my car one night, reading through months of betrayal, and I cried so hard I couldn't breathe. Not because I loved her, but because I realized she never really loved me. That's when the plan started forming. Not revenge. Not at first. Just justice. I contacted a lawyer. Filed for divorce quietly. Gathered financial records. Moved assets. Prepared everything so when it hit, it would hit hard. But I wasn't done. Not even close. Daniel had a reputation. Respected. Untouchable. So I made sure that changed. I sent an anonymous package to his wife. Photos. Hotel receipts. A timeline. No note. No explanation. Just the truth. Then I waited. 3 days later, everything exploded. Claire came home early. Eyes red. Hands shaking. You knew? She demanded. I looked up from the couch, calm. Knew what? Don't do that, she snapped. You knew about Daniel. I tilted my head. Who's Daniel? She froze. For the first time since I'd known her, she didn't have a lie ready. I filed for divorce, I said quietly. Her face went pale. What? You'll be served tomorrow. She laughed. Actually laughed. You're overreacting. Overreacting. To betrayal. To humiliation. To months of lies. I have everything, I said, sliding a folder across the table. She opened it, and I watched her world collapse page by page. You can't do this, she whispered. I already did. But the real destruction hadn't even started yet. Daniel's wife filed for divorce the same week. His firm launched an internal investigation. Turns out, sleeping with a married client's spouse isn't great for your career. He lost his job, his reputation, everything. Claire tried to fight the divorce, tried to twist the story, but evidence doesn't lie, and neither did the court. She lost the apartment, lost access to our accounts, lost the version of her life she thought she could keep while betraying me behind closed doors. The last time I saw her was outside the courthouse. No makeup, no confidence, just empty. You ruined my life, she said. I looked at her for a long moment. No, I replied. You did that all by yourself. I walked away without looking back. Now, months later, I still think about that night sometimes. The parking ticket, the fridge light, the moment everything changed. Because the truth is, betrayal doesn't break you all at once. It erodes you, slowly, until there's nothing left but someone you barely recognize. But sometimes, that someone is stronger than you ever were before. And sometimes, the quietest revenge is simply watching them live with what they've done. I still keep that parking ticket. Folded. Hidden. A reminder. Because the worst part isn't that she cheated. It's that for a long time, I almost let her get away with it. The end.